Hi everyone and welcome to this week's Monday Memo. Now over the last few weeks I've been talking more about what does it mean to have an entrepreneurial mindset in finance. And I suppose how do you know you're practically progressing along that journey? So I've got 7 deadly questions or ways you can follow up on to figure out whether you're more entrepreneurial minded or more technician minded. So the first question is, if you're entrepreneurial, you're asking questions like how must the business work in order to create and retain more internal and external customers that will drive more margin for the organization as a whole. Whereas if you're a technician, you're probably more focused on your own work and don't really care too much about how to improve the margin for the rest of the organization. You turn up and you go to work, whereas an entrepreneur has a bit more purpose about them. The second question is you as an entrepreneurial minded finance professional, you have a future orientated mindset. So you're looking to protect and grow profitability towards a certain benchmark or point or direction. So you have an image of what that a good organization looks like that and how finance supports that from protecting and growing margin perspective. Whereas a technician, you're more sort of working towards something. An entrepreneur works backwards from something, from that sort of direction or that image. Technician works towards something, not necessarily an image per se, but more follows checklists or some standard operating procedures and don't really look at changing what they do to drive or improve profitability. Um, Also, a third question would be is, do you take a holistic end to end view of the business in its entirety? Because if you do, and you sort of see it as a broad system of interrelated value drivers that again produce results for customers, internal and external, and you can articulate those value drivers or those main ones anyway, then you're more entrepreneurial minded. Technician would have a more narrow siloed view of how their work drives value. And then the fourth question I suppose is, you know do you understand or have a coherent picture of your organization's competitive position? Because if you have that external facing visibility, then you are more than likely entrepreneurial minded. If you're a technician, it's really the opposite. You've got an internal only view and rarely look outside your organization. A fifth type of question is, how visible are you in your organization? Because, you know, those that are more sort of continually curious on how the business needs to work, um, are more entrepreneurial minded. They know, for instance, that great insights alone, without any influence or visibility, won't deliver much in the way of impact. Whereas a technician, would be someone who rarely comes out from behind their desk. The sixth question is like, what's your thoughts on chaos? Do you thrive in chaos? Because if you do, and you're comfortable with working with both quantitative and qualitative numbers, and advising decision makers towards directional outcomes or ranges, perhaps at various levels of uncertainty, then it's more likely you've got that entrepreneurial mindset. Whereas a technician likes routine, likes order, very much stick to the rules. And finally, the seventh deadly question, I suppose, is, and it's quite a fundamental one for me as well, because it comes back to a truth that we operate off in finance, is that income follows on from assets. So are your actions directed at creating and nurturing assets that you have at your disposal, or assets that you lead, whether they be people, controls, reporting, various analyses, procedures that you create, you know, because if you look at those as assets that support building sustainable and profitable businesses that you nurture and you enhance those over time, then you're more likely have the entrepreneurial mindset in finance. A technician, on the other hand, simply just focuses on behaviors, or those behaviors anyway that are required to execute tasks. So very much an asset based approach versus a behavioral based approach. And I guess, for me, that those different fundamental thoughts or ways of thinking, they're manifested in actions and things that work or don't work. And that's why we bring guest mentors onto the Strength in the Numbers show, is to go through their stories, their hard-won lessons, where they've been successful and perhaps not as successful, to sort of take some of the learning curve, time and duration away to allow you to start adding value more faster and make a more meaningful impact for your organizations faster. so that you get more out of your careers and your organization benefits too. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please let your friends and colleagues know about it. We're on all the major platforms. They can subscribe at iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and YouTube. And really appreciate you investing your time with us today. So until next time, take care of yourselves, and let's keep on building our strength in the numbers.